Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Harlequin here, and welcome to another episode of HarlequinCasts, Dawn of War 2 Retribution. And I gotta say, even though a lot of people really enjoy really high-level 1 versus 1s and Company of Hero and all that, by far the most requested game type I get out there is just for more newbie games. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today. Today's going to be yet another Newbie Tuesday style cast here because so many people just really enjoy this. So if you're the kind of player who loves top player games only and can't stand watching people who are new to the game, oh well, I'll get you tomorrow or something like that. But for today, I've got a bunch of great games that I just really enjoyed checking out here. So, and before we get started here, I want to give a nice little shout out to my buddy Guantes, who helped me. If you guys have been reading, I had a nice little post out there about how to hack older replays since we had 3.14, 3.14.1, 3.14.2, and they're all basically the same thing. He helped me put together a little script that allowed me to automate all of my viewer submissions and put them all into the same version there. So that's what I'm doing today, is just churning through viewer submitted replays. So here we are in the rainy, dark, foreboding atmosphere of Legis High Stratum, a 1 versus 1 game. This game does have observers in it, so it's kind of a custom game, I believe. Up here in the northern position, playing as the red Eldar player, as the Warlock, we've got Robin NG1. Ing1. I'm just going to call him Robin, that's easier. And his opponent today as the blue Chaos Lord in the southern side of the map, although his pieces are red. That's so confusing. That's going to drive me nuts. Anyhow, his pieces are red, but he's blue on the mini-map. We have Mr. Divine Fist as the Chaos Lord. Let's go ahead and get this started here and just see what everybody's up to. So already, and by the way, I let people self-select for newbie. If they want to call themselves newbies, that's fine. I don't care. It's not a derogatory term. Really, the point of this is let's take a look at people who are not top players but still enjoy the game and have good games out there, and just, you know, celebrate the good games that normal people have every day. So we're going to be watching a lot of nice victories like that. So taking a look around, we can see Divine Fist opened up with some Chaos Space Marines, and it looks like Robin went ahead and got some Howling Banshees, 2 very standard opening build orders. Now the first thing I'm going to note here, other than the fact that I'm hitting my 0 key and my numpad as if I had a tactical map, thank you Company of Heroes, is that all of Robin's units here are going towards one side of the field. It's a great thing that he went ahead and got his power first. You can see upgrading the power node right away. I would expect the power node to go pretty soon here for Divine Fist, but as you can see, he opted to get a second squad of Heretics. But what I was going to say was that when you send all of your units over to one side of the map like this, it's kind of all your eggs in one basket. I think it's always better to send your Warlock into a different location or send your hero someplace else by themselves, because a hero can easily bump into a squad of scouts or a squad of guardsmen or something like that and do some damage and like just kind of disrupt their capturing. As you can see, both players are kind of being a little bit passive here. Well, I'm not going to say both players. Divine Fist obviously did the right thing. He split off, sent his hero to the middle, and sent the rest of his guys off to the right to kind of capture stuff. But right now it seems like Robin has too many units tied up over here on the left. You can see this unit very far away from the action, all the way back here across the rear edge. It's going to take it a long time to get anything done. We can see already it looks like the Chaos Heretics using a Doom Blast right away on the Warlock. Not a good idea there. The Doom Blast isn't going to do much damage. That little bit of suppression isn't going to help you. If you're not going to stay and fight, just run away. Just save yourself the resupply cost. You're just basically firing off some money for nothing really there. So a little teeny bit of damage, but it would have been just as easy to attack and then run away. Definitely want to use your Doom Blast in certain situations. So now we can see both players have upgraded their power node, although we do have generators, 2 generators on the field right now for Robin. And because he had that centrally placed Chaos Lord, he was able to threaten this power generator. So we do have Chaos Space Marines here backing him up, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and straight up get some power nodes down. Now, of course, it looked like Robin's units were a little bit too far away from the action here. He's going to have trouble getting back there on time. You can see that the Warlock is doing some nice back capping. We do have Howling Banshees now charging in. That's a great time to be using your Doom Blast there. You definitely want a Doom Blast, but you also want to get the hell out of there. Howling Banshees versus Heretics. That's a terrible matchup, and you can see it took him way too long. Oh no, and he loses the whole squad of Heretics. Not good at all. That situation, I highly recommend Doom Blast Retreat. Versus when he saw the Warlock, maybe sit there and fight a little bit, then retreat if you don't like it. Versus Screaming Howling Banshees, you can see they have the aspect already. Not good at all. So it looks like both players here are fairly content at just trading generator farms here. You can see there was a little bit of action going up here between the Chaos Lord and those Guardians. It looks like the Chaos Lord used his Kill the Weak ability, which costs about 50 mana. And that makes him very tough for Guardians to deal with here. So kind of tricky here. You're kind of stalling the game out. When you both opt to just trade generator farms, it's a real problem. But it looks like we're going to go ahead with that. So the Chaos Heretics kind of need to move out and engage in some way, even if it's just to harass these Guardians over here. Heretics coming up here and Doom Blasting could do a bunch of damage and would pull off the Banshees a little bit here. I like what's going on up here because you can see, unfortunately, the Guardians were focusing the Chaos Lord, and it looked like the Chaos Space Marines were focusing the Guardians. So he was providing plenty of cover for his Chaos Lord. He's going to wreck all of his generators and the node. Whereas it looks like Divine Fist node is only a little bit down. And here, this is looking beautiful. You can see, just like I was hoping, the Chaos Heretics came all the way in here, Doom Blasted, really wounded these troops, engaged them in melee, and now, oh no, that's unfortunate there. Granted, they were in building cover, but you know, you do have pistols and stuff. You could have sat there and shot for a little bit longer and tried to inflict some casualties. As a result, these two Guardians are going to get away. That was unfortunate here, especially when there's a Havoc squad. There was just no reason to retreat. Keep them trapped in the building, move up with the Havocs. Havoc's not a bad idea, though. So let's take a look around here again and see what else. So now we have the retreat here, and oh, this could be really good here if he sees them coming. Chaos Space Marines, unfortunately, he wasn't quite aware of that, just took some parting shots, but that's a good opportunity to get in some melee here. Now we can see the Chaos Space Marines being a little bold here. Granted, Space Marines are tough, but they are standing out in open cover here. And now the Chaos Lord going to have to use, yes, there he goes. He's going to go ahead and use his Kill the Weak ability. Does a bunch of damage, and it heals him. So you can see it makes him really tanky. And now, although I kind of disagree with retreating all these troops here. Again, I apologize if I'm focusing too much on Robin here so far, but honestly, I think both players here are pretty new. But he retreated with everybody right there. We know we just saw the Chaos Lord use the Kill the Weak ability, so he's not going to have that again too soon. But now we're risking seeing that again. Now double Guardians, though, triple Guardians, really focus firing that Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord's got to get out of there. I know it feels like you can keep killing the weak and stay invulnerable forever, but it turns out Chaos Lord is not. And that was a big mistake there, sticking around a little bit too long. He let his opponent. Basically, don't underestimate what 3 Guardian squads focus firing 1 unit will do. That is a lot of damage. You can see this Chaos Space Marine here just barely getting out of there at 84 hit points. He is going to make it home. But we can see right now that now Robin is kind of in control of the battlefield. It's very important. Note what he's doing right here. Robin had just won that nice little conflict, split up all of his troops, captured all different locations. Very, very key. Oh, here we go. Once again, let's see. Heretics, Doom Blast. Come on, Heretics, Doom Blast. You got it. Oh, waiting a little bit too long in that. It's always very important to stay kind of aware of what's going on the battlefield right now. That Doom Blast could have really done a lot of damage prior to them retreating. Oh well, but he's going to be putting some pressure here. This is a little bit odd too that it looked like Robin went ahead and decided he wanted to change his gen farm all the way up here, but okay. Taking a look more towards the right-hand side, you can see the Chaos Havocs are now moving out. And now, one thing to really pay attention to is your power. You want to get to 125 power. Like, really, the name of the game here is, in the most broad sense, build 3 units, get 125 power, go to tier 2, figure out what you're going to do next. Like, if you don't have a big plan going into this, that should be your kind of general theme here. So you'll notice Divine Fist now, he's on top of his power. He's a little bit heavy on requisition. That's fine. He could definitely use one more generator, probably an oversight on his part. In fact, one generator would be perfect here because he has too much money, not quite enough power to get up to tier 2. So you could drop one more generator, work his way up to 125, and then bam, go for tier 2. Whereas Robin has been spending a lot of time dealing with Guardians. I know at least one Guardian squad was upgraded, the Banshees were upgraded, and the Warlock has a bunch of gear on him. Immolator Sword, Champion's Robe, all sorts of stuff like that out there. So that's a good way to read your opponent and say, oh, okay, we know that we've killed a lot of their power, and it looked like that was the whole Howling Banshee squad get taken down there while I was talking there. So whatever happened there, they really shouldn't have all been taken down by the Chaos Space Marine. So that was a bit unfortunate there. But anyhow, the read for Divine Fist should be, I'm probably ahead in terms of power. I'm feeling comfortable in terms of power. Granted, he didn't see this entire power generator go up here, that whole gen farm up there. But he should by now be paying attention to the gear that he sees on the Warlock, because he has seen the Warlock quite a bit. Always click on your opponent's heroes and see what's up. That's a pretty good power investment there. And so as a result, he's going to have a huge lead on tier 2. Notice he is behind because he lost that single Heretic squad there. But he's up right now. Meanwhile, Robin is continuing to make things. So not only has he made and then lost the Howling Banshee. So he's made 5 units so far in tier 1, including the Shuriken. Really, that's a bit overkill. That's extremely overkill. He didn't need the 3rd Guardian squad, and he definitely didn't need the Shurikens. He needed to focus more on getting power and getting to tier 2. He's in a good line right now to get to tier 2, but that's going to be a problem for him. Or at least it could be. It could be. Who knows? So the Chaos Heretics over here on the right-hand side now engaging here a little bit. This is a good time to use a Doom Blast and then retreat, or maybe a Doom Blast, run through a little bit more, use another Doom Blast, and then retreat. But he's definitely outmatched here just in terms of sheer number of Guardians there. And yes, he is retreating right now. The Guardians are continuing to shoot, though, unfortunately. You could have got a little bit more damage by doing forced melee. And by the way, let me just pause for a sec here. When people say forced melee, if you don't know what we're talking about, when you're controlling here, and unfortunately I'm not in the game, I'm watching a replay, so I can't show you. But you have down here next to your army card, when you're grabbing a unit, you can press Z and force them to attack in melee. So if you have your left hand over the normal WASD position, X is your retreat button, Z is your melee attack. So really, you just click this guy, click Z, and then click on the unit you want. And as opposed to right-clicking them, which will just use whatever attack is most, you'll just sit there and fire for a while because you're almost always in range stance. Z will just make them walk up to them and hit them. So if you're already on top of them, Z, click, boom, they go into melee, and awesome. Why do you want melee? Well, because retreating units take extra damage from explosive and melee damage. That's a lot of people know that, but in case you didn't, be aware that you always want to be hitting with melee whenever you see a retreating unit, or you always want to hit them with explosive stuff. So for instance, throwing a grenade in their retreat path so they run over a grenade. Very effective stuff there. Anyhow, we've got the Chaos Space Marines now with the Mark of Khorne upgrade. Not the worst thing. But here is what I love seeing out here. This is what I want to focus on right now, is that Divine Fist has got a Blood Crusher out. Now, granted, this is definitely sort of a low-level mentality way to use a Blood Crusher, but there's a reason why it works out there. It's kind of like if you look at another game like StarCraft or even... No. Let's stay within Relic games here. If we look at Company of Heroes and you see M8 Greyhound rushes, people get the quickest, fastest light vehicle they can and throw it at their opponent's face. And if their opponent hasn't quite been keeping up with tech, this is kind of like just a straight-up technology check here. Little bit of a miss shot there with the charge. He definitely shouldn't have used that. I'm sure he thought it would be awesome if he charged through a bunch of retreating units. Anyhow, his opponent now is being called on his bluff. He has no tier 2. He has no way to attack vehicles. He simply does not have any vehicle attacking units. This Blood Crusher is completely uncountered right now. This Blood Crusher can do whatever it wants, and it's going to. And that's the way to do it.